The paper is coming after the MultiSENSE experience. This is a sub-study of the MultiSENSE, in fact, with the objective to investigate the temporary relationship between worsening heart failure and atrial fibrillation progression via device-based physiological sensor. The MultiSENSE trial shows how the HeartLogic index has a sensitivity of 70% with a very low false alert, about 1.47. That means that it's possible to preview the heart failure 34 days before its appearance. The study we are going to present today is in fact related to the patient that developed atrial fibrillation during monitoring. The patients were grouped by the longest daily AF burden in 3 groups, less than 6 minutes or no AFib, second group between 6 minutes and 24 hours, third group more than 24 hours. And there were 900 patients in the study. 630 were patients with no AFib, 141 had the atrial fibrillation between 6 minutes and 24 hours, and 98 had the atrial fibrillation longer than 24 hours. The patients had a different baseline characteristic according to atrial fibrillation story that was higher in people in the last group, BNP that was higher in the last group, and meanwhile the class New York Heart Association and the left ventricular ejection fraction were equal. The first result is that looking at the sensor before and after atrial fibrillation, it came out the HeartLogic index did increase after AFib only in the third group with the longest atrial fibrillation, meanwhile stay almost the same in the other group, and in the same direction S3 increase and S1 decrease just in the 24 hours group. When atrial fibrillation starts, usually the HeartLogic already days before is going to increase. The most important parameter that can predict are S3, that is increase, the impedance, thoracic impedance is decrease, and the rapid shallow breathing index is also increased. So those data are coming many days before the atrial fibrillation ensue. If we are going to, in the 30 days around the fib, the night heart rate is also increased, and it is maintained a decrease of impedance and the increase of S3. It is interesting to know that if we look at the 30 days post-fib ensue, then the S1 stay lower, but the HeartLogic is recovering smoothly but constantly, together with the decrease of respiratory rate and rapid shallow breathing. We made a multi-parametric analysis that did show how the history of atrial fibrillation, the BNP in the basic condition, and S3 are the most important parameter that can predict the atrial fibrillation ensue in those patients with heart failure and CRTD. Heart failure incidence from enrollment to atrial fibrillation didn't different in the 3 groups. On the other hand, after atrial fibrillation, the heart failure incidence increased about 25% in 270 days only in patients with the longest AFib episode. Meanwhile, it was statistically lower in patients between 6 minutes and 24 hours, and again lower below 10% in patients without a fib. There is a temporal association of atrial fibrillation and heart failure, and that is shown by daily physiological variables. Beside history of atrial fibrillation, the heart failure status and S3 are important factors in predicting the risk of atrial fibrillation. And the new incidence of atrial fibrillation also significantly increases the risk of heart failure, suggesting a bidirectional interaction between atrial fibrillation and heart failure. The HeartLogic experience shows how there is a constant relation between HeartLogic and the development of heart failure after more than 2-3 weeks, and with a sensitivity that is not so far from the 70% demonstrated in the MultiSENSE study.